we don't have all of the information. What I would say here, clearly there are some governance failures there. And, going forward, we're going to have to strengthen the reporting mechanisms and the accountability mechanisms. I mean, I would say we were caught flat-footed in terms of the amount of money spent.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Caribbean Spot. Today, we have an important update on this so-called 22 million ECCB scandal that everyone's been talking about. So, let's get into this video. Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Browne just dropped a bombshell on the 22 million ECCB mansion scandal. And now we know the Monetary Council failed to control the spending. But who really approved it? Who is lying? And why are Caribbean leaders scrambling to cover up this truth? Today, we expose it all. Okay, so let's get into what Gaston Browne really said. So, in a public interview recently held, Gaston Browne admitted what many suspected. There were serious governance failures in how the ECCB mansion was handled. And let me tell you, his words were clear, and I quote, "There are governance failures. We were caught flat-footed in terms of the amount of money spent." You heard that correctly. That is what Gaston Browne said in the interview. Flat-footed. That means the Monetary Council, including Camillo Gonsalves, Ralph Gonsalves' son, and other finance ministers were asleep at the wheel, while 22 million of public money was poured into a mansion, and now they're scrambling to explain. Well, more like the lack thereof, instead accusing Timmy. The hidden truth. Was the council misled, or did they approve it? Let's get one thing straight. Browne is not saying the council never knew about the mansion. He's admitting that they didn't know it would cost $22 million. So, the real question is, who approved the original budget? Was Camillo Gonsalves a part of that committee when they approved the original budget? Did he not share this with his dad at the time? And if he did, then why is his daddy, Ralph Gonsalves, making it seem in his letter that this is brand new information and he did not know about this mansion being built, this palace, this grandeur, opulence? Help us understand, Ralph, why you came from that angle. Another question here is, was it 10 million, 8 million, or less? When did that budget explode to 22 million? And why didn't the council demand updates as the costs rose? Who knew? Who signed off? Because you can't approve a mansion and then pretend you had no idea it was being built. So either they were negligent or they are lying to protect themselves. Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more, do me a huge Caribbean favor. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Your support helps me grow this channel and build a strong Caribbean community where we can have real conversations. Let's keep this momentum going. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Now back to my commentary. Why Gaston Browne is calling for an independent investigation? Well, let's not forget, Prime Minister Gaston Browne made it clear that there's no evidence of corruption by Timothy Antoine. In fact, Browne said he respects the governor and hasn't seen any wrongdoing. No evidence of corruption, but we need an independent investigation. But here's what's important. Browne is calling for an independent investigation, not to attack Timothy Antoine, but to make sure we fully understand how this happened and how 22 million got approved and spent. This isn't about blaming Timothy without evidence. It's about restoring public trust and making sure we have all the facts. Because whether it was mismanagement, misunderstanding, or something deeper, the Caribbean people, we deserve to know what's happening. We deserve to know the truth. And I applaud Mr. Gaston for taking this stance. Unlike many other leaders and prominent citizens of the Caribbean, calling for Timothy's resignation without proper proof, no evidence at all. And you're saying he needs to resign. And you have that coming from a prime minister, a leader of a country, and from other prominent lawyers. And no, you guys are shameful. 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 Would you cut off your arm and then go investigate to see if you have a broken arm or if your arm is sprained? No. Stop working backwards. Holding the leadership accountable. No excuses. Now let's focus on what really matters. The people in charge of the Monetary Council, whether or not Gaston Browne is chairman today or tomorrow, he did say that he's not a chairman, the current chairperson. The truth is, the council, made up of our Caribbean finance ministers, should have been watching this from day one. You cannot approve a project, let costs spiral out of control, and act like you didn't know what was happening. That's a failure of leadership. And every council member needs to be held accountable for that. Caribbean people are struggling. And while we struggle, 22 million was quietly spent on a mansion. So, this is not about who will be chairman later this year. This is about who failed to protect the people's money right now. And every single council member who sat in those meetings needs to explain to the people why they didn't speak up sooner. Tell us, we want to know. Why didn't you speak up sooner? Here's the hard truth. This is a system failure, not just one man. Here's the bottom line. This scandal is not just about Timothy Antoine. It's about a system-wide failure of leadership, transparency, and accountability. The Monetary Council approved this mansion at some level, but let the cost explode to 22 million without stopping it. So, when Gaston Browne says there were governance failures, he's right. But that means everyone shares the blame. What do you think? Should Timothy Antoine step down? Should the Monetary Council, including Camillo Gonsalves, be held accountable for this massive failure? And should an independent investigation be launched to get the full truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The Caribbean deserves answers, and we won't stop until we get them. Like, share, and subscribe for more no-nonsense Caribbean commentary, because we're just getting started. Up next is a video interview with Gaston Browne sharing his thoughts on the scandal. See you on the next video, guys. Bye.
Alice controversy where this is concerned. Any comments on this? And by the way, has the board met us yet?
The Monetary Council has not met us yet. I'm sure we'll have to meet at some point to look at this issue. But we don't have all of the information. What I would say here, clearly there are some governance failures there. And, going forward, we're going to have to strengthen the reporting mechanisms and the accountability mechanisms to strengthen the governance framework, because at the level of the Monetary Council, I mean, I would say we were caught flat-footed in terms of the amount of money spent. But I don't know that we can escape the responsibility. I mean, one can argue that we ought to have known. At the level of the directorship, I don't know the extent to which they knew how much money was spent. What I can say, though, there's no evidence that the governor himself had sought to be excessive, and certainly I don't know that I have seen any case of corruption also that would, create an issue in terms of undermining the governor's integrity. Maybe, perhaps, and again, look, I feel that at this point, until we get a proper report, we may have to set up some independent committee to look at this issue. I feel it may be a little injudicious for me to come to any conclusion at this point, other than to say that the amounts that were spent on the building has raised concerns, and many of us as Monetary Council members, we are concerned, but it may be a little premature for me to make any definitive statements at this time, other than to say that, the matter has to be dealt with and resolved, and at some point, the Monetary Council will meet and discuss this issue. Okay. And certainly we'll have to keep the public informed as to how this matter is ultimately resolved.
All right. I want us to come back home now and look at the recently held parliamentary debates.